Hello, bonjour, ça va? And how are we tonight? It is Wednesday, February the 25th, 2026, here in southwestern Ontario, Canada, by the beautiful, still very icy shores of Lake Huron. I don't think they're going to melt anytime soon, maybe by the edge of June. Oh, hope we don't have to wait that long. I'm coming on tonight because the last few days I've been watching some of the YouTube information coming up. It's almost like a rehashing from stuff from the past that I was watching, but I had stopped watching that stuff because I just found it too upsetting, too negative. Yeah, I don't want to see that kind of stuff. I'm aware now, Spirit's made me aware that these issues exist on your world and on your planet. It's hard to see these things. It's hard to watch because there's such discrepancy in their light. So in other words, the dichotomy of the higher light and the lower light, there's just such a gap now. It's not little anymore. It's huge. Okay, so the depravity, the lowliness of that lower strain of thought it's getting to some of us, isn't it? So I know the last few videos have been focused more on those newly awakening. They need help, they need guidance and direction. But I'm coming back to speaking with those of you, those of us, who've been here a long time, been there, done that, here and on many other worlds as well. So we have a lot of old soul experience. And we've been there and done that many, many, many lifetimes over. We've seen a lot of horrific things happen, haven't we? We remember some of them. The others we just kind of rest and digest out because we don't want to, go there anymore. But the amount of depravity here is going to be closed down soon enough. The exposures, as we've said for years, have to come out, and they are, sooner rather than later. All will be exposed. So all of those doing their, dirty, nasty little deeds here are going to be exposed. Their wills in regards to their higher light turn them into their dark of night. They didn't have the willpower, in other words, to rise to their higher light. Instead, they deemed themselves inferior, not good enough, outclassed, shall we say, and they kind of disappeared back down into their dark, deep little hole of conundrums. What are we going to do here? We can't rise to meet our higher light and our higher way of being, so we're going to succumb to our lower light, and we're going to do our nasty, dirty deeds while we can, while we're here. And soon enough, that will be clear. So all these old ways of being, it's like these beings have become destitute of their higher light. Let's put it that way. So what I was hearing earlier before I came on, because I was asking, is there any message tonight? And what I was hearing was that our world was on a path of destruction. So this level of depravity hasn't been known before in certain quadrants of light. So we came in as a vanguard to bring those who were left coming back to their higher selves. We came in as a help thought structure to construct higher light images, viewpoints, ways of being on your world and on your planet. And that's what we've done, and that's what we've been doing, and that's what we shall continue to do. Because we've turned it around enough so that it can be clearer and higher for you. That's what we came in here to do. So if you have remembered or are in the process of remembering your volunteer work coming in from higher light, beam of sources of light, then you will understand the saying here that we are returning you to your higher might. God bless. We give you peace, love, and light. We're speaking to you from our higher angelic might. So the higher angelic realms here are helping and have been helping and continue to help those of us who have a higher structure of light when we come in, and we get that revealed to us before we go out. So in other words, the DNA, the genetics, the genetic program is of a higher species of thought. And we came in here with that, wanting to do our job, but I'm hearing so that we wouldn't be distraught. So a lot of this negativity, depravity, low life way of living has just been, what is it, like just water off a duck's back. We just sort of, it's like we're Teflon. It didn't stick to us. It couldn't, because we were genetically prepared and aligned with the higher light ahead of time, with our own higher light and with source code energy light. So we have a higher structural DNA genetic programming. Those of us who came in a lower realm of time were not quite, it's like envisioning their higher mind, their higher divine mind. So they came in with a purpose as well. They came in to dwell in a higher mind that's been changed from a lower dimensional, interdimensional line of time. So there were those beings who came in, who offered again for their journey. And then there are others who came in just, I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just here, like putting in time. And I don't care which way, whether I'm divine or not. So when you meet these people who they don't seem to care about anything or anybody, you kind of scratch your head a little bit. But that's what they're doing. Everyone, as we've said before, how many times now, has a certain propensity for a certain quotient of higher light. They come in to do what they feel they need to do and what they feel is right. So every being's thought structure who comes in here to do dastardly deeds came in here with a reason for being too. They came in here for destruction purposes. And they get to come in here to do whatever they want to, because this is the landscape of your world. It's not always been that way, and it's not always going to be that way. But for this time frame and this time period, there were a lot of losses of light here. So your world has been recaptured from the lower light, in other words. It's no longer going to be in plight. We will make sure it's turned back to the higher light. All right? We've got a high angelic presence here on your world now. And they're overturning the lower light. You have a lot of sunlight, central sunlight beings coming in now on your world. And they're going to be unfurled, and they will create a new world of higher light. Because it's time. So this devastation and near annihilation came in for a reason and a purpose. To discourage those of higher light, so they would learn how to fight. In other words, it was a challenge to them that they knew they could surmount. A little iffy at times, doesn't it seem that way here? I don't know if I'm going to make it or not. But they came in with the higher capacity of light to be able to do so. And they switched. They switched their template from the lower light to the higher light. So you have a whole new wavelength of beings now who know how to process their lower light to their higher light. This has been a wonderful learning experience. Where else could you go in this hemisphere of thought to learn that and create that within yourselves? So there are all categories of thought structures here, and light structures, and genetic structures, so that you could implant your higher wavelengths of time through the divine lineage of the divine time. So all of these old structures are being superseded by the newer, higher light. I'm hearing that we've got old graveyards of old light. And they're now reaching their respite. God bless, we give you peace, love, and light. We're speaking to you from our higher angelic might. Okay. So we're crossing timelines. We've talked about this before. We know this already. And those of us who know the truth about this world and this planet and the devious deeds and all the children hunting and all those other, as we view it, horrendous things being done, that's going to be resurrected and brought back to their higher sun. God bless, we give you peace, light, and one. We are speaking to you from our angelic sun. They're not going to be able to corrupt the world anymore. But the exposures have to happen, right? I mean, people have to see this, or they won't believe it, right? I mean, who would believe this stuff, seriously? They do what to children? They're doing what to our kids? What? Guess how parents are going to feel about those creatures who have been doing that to their offspring. As we've said how many times over the years, we wouldn't want to be you when that happens. And rightly so. So because we have occupied this space of higher light and lower light, we have learned how to infiltrate the lower spaces. Just like, again, I'm getting that picture of the Matrix. I know they have 4 movies out, but was it the 3rd one? Where the final battle with the AI guy and Neo. And it looks like, the guy's got Neo, and Neo's toast, right? Looks that way. But what happened, and then he's gleeful. He's, oh, I got him. And then he just kind of stands there and, what? Like, what's happening to me? Because Neo went in him. And he corrupted him. And he literally burst through him from the inside out. So Neo won. So we have come in like Neo to infiltrate the darker light and make it white and bright and higher light. And that's what we've been doing, and that's what we've done. We have succeeded in that. We're bringing everybody back to the one. It's the higher one. So that's what we've done. So, hasn't been for naught. So when you do get discouraged hearing or reading these things, because we're going to be seeing more and more of these exposures coming out, it's going to be dreadful news for a while. And it hurts, doesn't it? It hurts the heart. Makes you sick. Feel sick to your stomach, don't you? We're going to bypass that at a certain time point. We're going to reveal all the traumas. We're going to heal all the traumas. We're going to let that be freed up, let go, and we're going to move on. Just like how we've been doing this individually. You bring up the traumas from the subconscious awareness, stuff you didn't know was there, patterns and programs that have illegally been run on you. And you make them disappear. You see them, You go through that horror and that shock. Really? And I'm hearing like a freeze frame. And then they capture that moment in your thought wave. And then you turn it over and you say, okay, blessings, I'm done with this. Bye-bye. Forgive, bless, release. You know our 3-step plan. And we move through that emotional debasement, if that's a word, of our light. And then we come back and it's like, no more. This is never going to happen again. Because now we know what it looks like. Now we know how to prove to ourselves that we can eradicate the lower light by shifting into our higher light. That's how you do it. You move through the traumas. You move through all of that accessibility to your higher will. And you make it happen by sheer strength alone and determination. I'm going to do this. I will myself to do this with the higher light, with the angelic light, with source code energy light. Go right back to the beginning. We go right back to the beginning of creation, right back to Creator. And we are creationists as well. We're part of this whole plan. And we've now rested and digested that old, darkened way of being out of us. So we're clear. We get it. We see both sides of the coin. We see the very dark to the very light. And everything in between. And we've been there and done it all. We've played on both sides of the fence. Most of us, not all of us. But those of us who have played both sides understand now how to keep themselves clear of that old, angry atmosphere. God bless. We give you good cheer. We're giving you a blessing for each and every year. You have reduced and eliminated your fear. God bless. Be of good cheer. I'm also hearing we're reigning supreme for the rest of your year. I like that. Well, a little bit heavier kind of message there, but we have to address this. And as said, when these exposures come out about all these lower beings of light, it's going to be a shock. It is already. And sometimes we just get really down about it, don't we? It's like, how could anybody be that depraved? It's just mind-blowing, isn't it? So yeah, we're going to be traumatized. We're going to be learning the lessons of the lower light. We're learning how to overcome fear and fright. And we're learning how to take back our higher light and our higher might. God bless. We give you peace, love, and light. We're speaking to you from our angelic might. All right. So I'm going to leave it there. Sobering moments, right? Well, we can do this, or we wouldn't have taken it on in the first place. We knew from the beginning what would be the end. And on that note, I will leave you, my friend. Okay. If you do wish to book an appointment with us, you can go to the website www.healingourenergy.ca and book there. All right. Love you always. Take care of yourselves and others, and we will speak and commune with you another day. Bye for now.